Joining us now in the Hyundai Texans radio studio, it's Andre Johnson. Like you need an introduction here. All right. Pro Football Hall of Fame's finalist, also Ring of Honor member, the first Ring of Honor member in the history of the franchise. But I'm going to start here, Andre. What do you think of all the new merch for the Houston Texans? The H, I saw you rocking the battle red jacket. What are you thinking?
It's nice, man. It's different. It's different. I think it brings a little swagger, to the organization. So, I think it's got a great response too from the fans. So, I like it. I think it's going to do well.
Okay, given the merch, and I think about the Thursday night game against the Eagles, what would you have rather worn? We've seen that Columbia blue flying around, that Texans or Houston blue that we have going around, or the red helmet. What would you rather wear? If you had to pick one, which one would you rather rock?
I mean, probably the red helmet.
Red helmet, sweet.
Better battle red gear, red jersey, white pants, red jersey, red pants. We've even seen the red jersey, blue pants. Your thoughts?
Red jersey, red pants.
Okay, go with the all red.
That was 2007. Those Broncos, right? I call them ketchup bottles.
I think that, and also maybe against Baltimore in 2010. Some of it's a blur right now.
Yeah.
Andre, what's this process been like for you? You said something at your press conference I thought was interesting, and I think I try and teach myself that, but I know I can't. You said there's nothing else I can do. I can't catch another pass. I can't go out there and score another touchdown. So I've done what I could do, and that what you said. How has this process kind of been for you, knowing that it's really out of your hands? It's just what other people have to say, whether you get in or not. How's that process been for you?
Well, I've always, when I first got here, Kippy Brown was my receiver coach, and he used to always tell me, I had never had anybody tell me, he was like, control the things you can control. And ever since he told me that, it just kind of always stuck with me. So when people ask me, like, do I get upset, because I didn't go in as a first ballot? And I'm like, no, like, why would I be upset? Because if it was me, if I could play more games and, then there's some control there,
right,
to affect it. But I can't do anything about it. It's in the judge's hands, and hopefully I can get in, and that's just the way I look at it.
And you were asked about Reggie Wayne in the press conference. I think John McClain asked you about him. And, I'm thinking back to, like, wide right 3. And, that was the first season you were eligible. And in that game, Anquan's playing in that game.
Right.
Reggie's in that game. You're on the Hurricanes. Do you think back to those days and how many Hall of Famers or potential Hall of Famers you were around?
Yeah, definitely. Just even, looking back just at Miami, not just the teams we played against, but I played with a bunch of great players, at Miami. So, I when people ask me about it, I tell them, I'm like, man, it was tougher in practice than it was in, some of the games that we played. So, it was, I always tell people, man, those days were like some of the best days of my life. So, just a great group of guys, man, who were on the same page and wanted, to win championships.
Andre, would it mean that much more for you to go in with somebody you have a connection with, i.e. Reggie, if you went in together, or you went in with Devin Hester? You could have 3 Hurricanes going in the same Hall of Fame class, which would be incredible. And then you throw Zach Thomas in there with a connection to Miami. Would it be more special that you would have somebody else go in there with you, or just you want to just get in and that's the way it is?
No, I definitely think it'd be special if you can go in with someone you have a connection with. That, to me, that just makes it even better.
Yeah.
I actually texted Reggie last night, and I congratulated him on being a finalist again. And I just told him, I was like, hey man, I wish we both can just kick the door down this time. So he responded back with the same thing. So I think if I don't know if they ever took 2 receivers in at one time or not, but if that was to happen, where me and Reggie can go in together, man, that'll make it even better. So
Is there any trash talk between you and Reggie and you pointing out, hey, you had Marvin Harrison on the other side. You had Peyton Manning throwing you the ball. Look at that O-line. Come on, Reggie.
Nah, it's never none of that. Even when we were playing and we played against each other, like, we would always, walk up to each other after the games and kind of talk about little things that we may have seen during the game. It was never any beef or any hating on each other, anything like that. It was a respect thing. I wanted to see him do well. He wanted to see me do well. Of course, we didn't want to see each other do well against our teams, but we just always kind of kept in touch. Reggie's always been like a big brother to me. So
right.
We've always had that relationship.
Andre, have you envisioned, what that call is going to be like when you get the call or you get the knock on your door that you're in? Second part of that question, who will it mean the most to of your friends, family, teammates, et cetera, that you do get the call outside of you? We know it matters to you, and we hope it does. Yeah. But who will it matter to the most that's not named Andre Johnson?
Probably my mom. I think it'll probably mean the most to her because, like, I always tell people, like, my mom, one of the best decisions my mom has ever made for me was sending me to Miami Senior High School. She got me away from a lot of things that friends and people who didn't have, I don't want to say my best interest, but they weren't into good things.
Right.
So, I think for her, it'll probably mean the most for her because, I go in the Hall of Fame, she go in the Hall of Fame too.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And she still lives in Houston, right?
Yeah.
And comes to the games. And
yeah, she hasn't missed a game since I retired. She comes to all the games. She's here. When we have home games on Sunday, she's watching the games when they're on the road. So she's still tuned into it.
Outstanding. Season ticket member. That's excellent. All right, so I have to ask you, what was the more difficult catch? All right, Arizona, we're going to leave that out because that was about yards after the catch and knocking those guys over on your way to the end zone. But I'm going to name a couple here. So let's go Washington 4th and 10, Miami 4th and 10 in 08, Minnesota helicopter catch in the end zone, or Titans in 09 in Nashville, right side of the end zone when you had to sort of full sprint, tippy-toe, and corral the ball. I named 4. Which was the toughest one? Those are all great Andre Johnson moments. He loves this, by the way.
Wait, did you say Washington 2010?
Of course I did.
Okay. I just said
sure. Washington 4th and 10.
I was waiting for it.
Itself.
Oh, you said 4th and 10. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I got you.
The Washington, believe it or not, the Washington and Minnesota ones were easy.
Really? Minnesota, you were flung around and on the ball.
I like Andre's definition of easy.
The reason why I say those were easy was because I was able to. I was already planted with both of my feet in the ground, and I just jumped up to catch the ball. Against Washington and Minnesota. The only thing with Minnesota, when I was up in the air, I was hit.
Right.
That's what made me flip. But once I had my hands on the ball, I was fine with that.
Miami was tough.
Miami and the Tennessee one was tough. I will probably say the Miami catch.
It's 4th down. You got to make that catch.
Yeah, I would probably say the Miami catch because the Tennessee one, I was able to tip it and the ball kind of stayed in front of me, so my momentum took me to it. But the Miami one, I still right now to this day don't know how I caught that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that saw that don't know how you caught it either.
Yeah,
Reached over Jeremiah Bell. Do you ever run into him or any other DBs over the years and talk about moments like that?
No, I haven't ran into Jeremiah. I've ran into Channing Crowder.
Okay.
So he was on that team. I actually scored 2 touchdowns on him on the same move, and he brought that up when I was doing the he was on I Am Athlete then, but they're on Pivot now.
Yeah.
So when I did the I Am Athlete video recording, he brought that up over there. So we talked about that for a little bit.
Because Jeremiah, it seemed like Jeremiah had the ball and you got it away from him.
Yeah.
I mean, like he had his hands on it first, or so it's. I've done this Zapruder film on it, and you took it from him at that particular moment.
Well, I think when I know I had at least one of my hands on the ball, and when I went to reach with my left hand, I think it was my right hand that was on the ball. When I reached in with my left hand, my momentum, like when I rolled over, I just snatched it from him. So
you definitely did that. As you watch ball now, Andre, I mean, I think about you coming into the league, 6'3", 225, big, strong, fast. Let's be honest, there just aren't many that are built like you. But as you watch the game now, is there somebody you watch and go, that was me? Is there anybody that you watch now that is like that in your mind? Throughout the league, not here, but just throughout the league.
Yeah, A.J. Brown.
Really?
Yeah, A.J. Brown. Jamar Chase, a little bit.
Yeah.
Brown is similarly built, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not as tall as you, though. I mean, he's like 6'1", whereas you topped out at what, 6'3"?
Yeah. I was 6'2".
A.J. Brown is probably the best.
Couple-
I think at some point we've comped A.J. Brown to you.
Yeah.
But I think that gives people, for some younger people out there that maybe didn't see you play, to go, hey, I've seen A.J. Brown play. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I know what he was
Except
all
Andre's
about.
better. So,
Yes.
Andre, a couple more quick ones for you. Some thoughts on the young Texans talent that we're seeing out there. Damian Pierce, I know he's not finishing the season injured, but Jalen Petrie, some of the other guys. Next year you get John Mechie back. Some thoughts on the young players for the Texans for the future?
I like them. I like them a lot. I think this class, this rookie class will be the class that kind of, gets this organization headed in the right direction. A lot of talent. And I think this year for them to get the play time and the reps that they got to get, the way that the games went. So all of those things that, you look at that happened this season, those are all learning lessons. So now you get to, they come in next year, they'll be way ahead, of where they were when they first got here.
Yeah, because you from year one to year two, big jump. What's the offseason like for them? What was it like for you? And how can that relate possibly?
For me, after I played my rookie year, it was probably like 2 months after the season, I was like, I'm ready to go back. Like I was just like, I know I can dominate, in this league. So that offseason, man, I worked my ass off. Like I'll never forget when we came back and we did our conditioning test. Jabbar Gaffney looked at me and he was like, bro, do you really realize how fast you was running? And I was just like, I was just like, I'm just ready to go. So, I think if they had that same approach, like, they, learn from what they did this offseason, and just put the work in, man. They come back. And I think, too, like, it's just a confidence thing. I think, if you look at the way those guys have played, I think that when they come back, they'll have a lot more confidence than they had this year because, as a rookie, you're just trying to figure it out and see how you fit in. And I think, once they come back next year, they'll see, like, I belong here. I could play here.
All right, Andre, thanks a lot for joining us. Congratulations on being a finalist. We'll hope for the best. We'll catch up soon.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.